In this video, we'll be learning how to multiply whole numbers. We will be using a method that will allow us to multiply numbers using a grid. This is a method which takes a little longer in comparison to the carryover method, but still allows us to get to the final answer. I will be going through 4 examples which increase in difficulty and will then give you an opportunity to practice the skills I'll show you to see how you get on. So question number 1, we have 32 times 6. Now, before we can answer the question, we have to partition the numbers into units, tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. So in this case, the 32 will become 30 and 2, and the 6 will stay as it is 6 units. Once you have partitioned the numbers, you will create a multiplication grid. Okay, now within this grid, we will input our numbers we have just partitioned, starting off with a multiplication sign on the top left hand side. Across the top, we've got 30 and 2, and along the side, we've got the number 6. Now, when you're creating your multiplication grid, it doesn't really matter what numbers you put across the top or along the side. I could have had 30 and 2 along the side and the number 6 across the top. Now, we are going to multiply each number together. So 30 times 6. Now, because 30 is a bigger number, what we are going to do is we are just going to multiply the 3 times the 6. This will then allow us to get to our answer. 3 times 6 gives me 18. Now, we can see there is no 0 attached to 6. However, there is a 0 attached to 30. So therefore, my answer will have a 0 attached to it. So 30 times 6 is equal to 180. The next part to this question is we are going to multiply the number 2 with 6. So 2 times 6 gives me 12. Once I have worked out my answers, I will add them up together and it will give me the overall total. So 0 plus 2 is 2, 8 plus 1 is 9, and we bring the 1 down, it gives us 192. So the answer to 32 times 6 is equal to 192. So moving on to question number 2, we have got 45 multiplied by 17. So as we did for question number 1, we will partition the 45 into 40 and 5, and the number 17 will become 10 and 7. Once you have partitioned your numbers, you will create your multiplication grid and insert your numbers. So I've got my multiplication sign on the top left hand side, 40 and 5 across the top, 10 and 7 along the side. Now, when we are multiplying bigger numbers, there is a method I want to show you. So in this instance, I'm going to multiply 40 times 10. So when you are multiplying these two numbers, I want you to ignore the zeros and multiply the numbers together. So 4 times 1 gives me 4. So as you may have noticed, the number 40 has 1 0 and the number 10 has 1 0. So in total, we have 2 zeros altogether. So therefore, our answer will have 2 zeros on the end of it. We attach the 2 zeros, so that will give us 400. So 40 multiplied by 10 is equal to 400. Next, we will apply the same rule to when I multiply 40 times 7. So I'm going to ignore the 0 and I'm going to multiply the 4 times the 7, which gives me 28. As you may have noticed, the number 40 has 1 0. The number 7 has no zeros. So in total, we have 1 0 altogether. So my answer will have 1 0 on the end of it. And we will attach this to the 28 So 40 times 7 gives me 280. Next, I'm going to multiply the 5 times the 10, which gives me 50. And then the 5 times the 7, which gives me 35. Once I have got my answers, I will put them together to get my overall answer. And as you can see, I am putting my numbers in order of size, which will allow me to add them up together. And in this instance, it will stop me from making any careless mistakes. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 is 5. 8 plus 5 is 13. Plus the 3 is 16. I'll put the 6 there and carry the 1 over. 4 plus 2 is 6. Plus the 1 is 7. So my overall answer to 45 times 17 is 765. So moving on to question number 3, we have 193 times 71. So as we have done previously, we will partition the numbers. So 193 will be 193. 71 will become 71. Once we have partitioned the numbers, we will create our multiplication grid and go ahead and insert our numbers. So on the top left hand side, I've got my multiplication sign. I've got 193 across the top, and I've got 71 along the side. I'm now going to multiply 100 with 70. So when I am dealing with bigger numbers, I am going to ignore the zeros on the end. So in this case, I'm going to multiply the 1 times the 7, which gives me 7. As you may have noticed, the 100 has 2 zeros on the end of it, and the 70 has 1 zero on the end of it. So in total, we have 3 zeros altogether. So therefore, our answer will have 3 zeros on the end, and we can go ahead and attach this to the number 7. So 100 times 70 is equal to 7,000. Next, I will be multiplying 100 with 1, which gives me 100. Moving on, I'm going to be multiplying 90 with 70. Again, I can see I am dealing with bigger numbers, so I'm going to ignore the zeros on the end. So in this case, I am going to multiply 9 times 7, which gives me 63. As you may have noticed, the number 90 has 1 zero and the number 70 has 1 zero. So in total, we have 2 zeros altogether. So therefore, my answer will have 2 zeros on the end. So I'll go ahead and attach it to the 63. So 90 times 70 is 6,300. Now I will be multiplying 90 with 1. 90 times 1 gives me 90. I'm now going to multiply the number 3 with the number 70. Okay, again, I'm dealing with a bigger number, so I'm going to ignore the 0. So I'm going to multiply the 7 times the 3, which gives me 21. As you can see, the 70 has 1 zero and the 3 has no zeros. So in total, we have 1 zero altogether. So therefore, my answer will have 1 zero on the end of it. So I'll go ahead and attach it to 21. So 70 times 3 is 210. And last but not least, I'm going to multiply 3 times 1, which is equal to 3. Now, before I get to my final and overall answer, I'm going to add up the columns so it will be easier for me to find the total at the end. So 200 and add 3. I'm going to add the 0 at the 3, which is 3. I'll bring down the 1 and I'll bring down the 2. 6,300 plus 90. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 9 is 9. I'll bring down the 3 and I'll bring down the 6. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. And then I bring down the 7. So in order to work out my overall answer, I'm going to add up 7,100, 6,390, and 213. I'll start with the units. 0 plus 0 plus 3 is 3. 0 plus 9 is 9, plus the 1 is 10. I put the 0 there and I carry the 1 over. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And then I got 7 plus 6, which is equal to 13. So my answer to 193 times 71 is 13,703. Now, moving on to question number 4. I have 457 times 514. So as I have done in my previous 3 examples, I'm going to partition the numbers. So 457 is 450 and 7. 514 is 510 and 4. Once I have partitioned the numbers, I create my multiplication grid and insert my numbers. So on the top left-hand side, I've got my multiplication sign. Across the top, I've got 450 and 7. And along the side, I've got 510 and 4. I'm going to first start off by multiplying 400 with 500. As you can see, we are dealing with bigger numbers again. So in this case, I'm going to multiply the 4 times the 5. As I have done before, I'm going to ignore the zeros. So 4 times 5 is equal to 20. Now, you can see my number 400 has 2 zeros and my number 500 has 2 zeros. So in total, we have 4 zeros altogether. So therefore, that means my answer will have 4 zeros on the end of it. So I'll go ahead and attach it to my 20. So 400 times 500 is equal to 200,000. Now, I'm going to multiply my 400 with 10. Again, I'm dealing with bigger numbers, so I'm going to ignore the zeros and multiply 4 with 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. I can see that my number 400 has 2 zeros and my number 10 has 1 zero. So in total, I have 3 zeros altogether. So therefore, that means my answer will have 3 zeros on the end. So I'll go ahead and attach it to my 4. So 400 times 10 is equal to 4,000. Now I'm going to multiply 400 with 4. I am going to ignore the zeros and I'm going to multiply the 4 times the 4. So 4 times 4 is equal to 16. I can see my number 400 has 2 zeros and my number 4 has no zeros. So in total, I have 2 zeros altogether. Therefore, that means my answer will have 2 zeros on the end of it. So I'll go ahead and attach it to my 16. So 400 times 4 is equal to 1600. Now, I'm going to multiply 50 with 500. Again, we're dealing with bigger numbers. So I'm going to ignore the zeros and multiply the 5 times the 5, which gives me 25. I can see my number 50 has 1 zero and my number 500 has 2 zeros. So in total, we have 3 zeros altogether. So therefore, that means my answer will have 3 zeros on the end of it. So I will go ahead and attach it to my 25. So 50 times 500 is equal to 25,000. Next, I am going to multiply 50 with 10. Again, I am going to ignore the zeros and multiply the 5 times the 1, which is equal to 5. I can see my 50 has 1 0 and my 10 has 1 0. So in total, we have 2 zeros altogether. So therefore, my answer will have 2 zeros on the end of it. So I will go ahead and attach 2 zeros to my 5. So 50 times 10 is equal to 500. Now I'm going to multiply 50 with 4. Again, I'm going to ignore the zeros. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 4, which equals to 20. I can see that my 50 has 1 0 and my 4 has no zeros. So in total, I have 1 0 altogether. So therefore, my answer will have 1 0 on the end of it. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the 1 0 to my 20. So 50 times 4 is equal to 200. Now, I'm going to multiply 7 with 500. Again, I'm dealing with bigger numbers, so I'm going to ignore the 0 and I'm going to multiply the 7 times the 5, which gives me 35. I can see my 7 has no zeros and my 500 has 2 zeros. So in total, we have 2 zeros altogether. So therefore, my answer will have 2 zeros on the end of it, and I will go ahead and attach it to my 35. So 7 times 500 is equal to 3,500. Now I'm going to move on to multiplying 7 times 10, which gives me 70. And last but not least, I'm going to multiply the 7 with the 4, which equals to 28. Now that I've multiplied each of my numbers together, I'm going to add up the total of the columns. As I've done for question number 3, this will help me to find my overall answer at the end, and it'll save me from adding up too many numbers together. So I'm going to add 3,500 plus 70 plus 28. So 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 8. 0 plus 7 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. And I'll bring down the 5 and the 3. So that gives me 3,598. Now I'm going to add up the 25,000 plus the 500 plus the 200. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 plus 2 is 7. I'll bring down the 5 and I'll bring down the 2. And now I'm going to add up 200,000 plus 4,000 plus 1,600. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 4 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And I'll bring down my 0 and 2. Now, in order to get my overall answer, I'm going to add the total of my columns together. So I've got 205,600, 25,700, and then 3,598. So 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 8. 0 plus 0 plus 9 is 9. 7 add 6 add 5. So 6 plus 7 is 13. Plus 5 is 18. I'll carry the 1 over. 5 plus 5 is 10. Plus the 3 is 13. Plus the 1 is 14. Carry the 1 over. 2 plus 1 is 3. I'll bring down the 2. So my overall answer to 457 times 514 is 234,898. Now that I've shown you the skills, I would like you to have a go at Mr. Khan's skills check questions. Here you can see Mr. Khan's skills check questions. So please have a go at the questions on your screen using what I have just shown you. So press pause, and once finished, click resume to reveal the answers. Here are the answers to Mr. Khan's skills check questions. Check how you have got on by marking the questions you have done. Thank you all for watching. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye for now and see you again soon.